What's up, everybody? It's Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. In today's video, I'm going to talk about cease and desist. And I must apologize because I do have two cease and desist letters. And I was looking through our pages that we give away for free. And I was in, because I kept getting a question from people that was wondering, like, do you use the cease and desist for a debt collection that is coming after you? And I was like, well, you use a cease and desist if you don't want them to call you, but you have to do a debt validation. But I had forgot that I had my programming team make a cease and desist letter that could potentially stop a debt collector because it's like a way of putting down a foundation where they have to make a determination if they even want to come after you for the debt. Even if the debt is legitimate, the way that this letter is crafted, a lot of debt collectors don't want to jump into that water. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute, but I want to talk about something first. Uh, with everyone, and some people may not like that I go off topic, but it's my channel. Like someone said, why was I talking about stocks on my channel? It's because it's my channel. The channel belongs to me, and I will talk about what I want to talk about. Now, uh, first thing I want to talk about briefly is if you didn't know or you didn't see it, I know you've probably seen it on the news. They have the Capitol police officer that is lying in state at the our nation's capital. And My condolences goes out to the family, and I know from all of my viewers, you've sent your condolences and prayers go to their family because what happened should never happen. Uh, what I want to speak about is something that's going to help you, and I'm going to relate it to what happened to me as a young soldier because I think that this it went past a lot of people. And I was talking about it to my wife. When did you see that there's an officer on each side of where the remains of the officer that was killed is sitting next to the flag, and he was cremated, so they have him encased in there. But there's an officer on one side, and an officer on the other side, and no matter what, as long as he's his remains or his ashes are there, they're gonna have someone on guard. Now, what I was saying to my wife is that people don't know what that guard is going through. And I'm going to tell you my personal experience. This is a picture of me. This is me, the skinny face me. This is me when I was 17 years old. Joined the United States Army. I turned 18 right after, so they let me sign up at 17. This is me. When you are at that guard post, those people, sorry about that interruption. The employee had a very important question, but this is me. And now I'm going to relate this. And the reason why this is something you should pay attention to, because it has to do with having the, uh, how can I say it the best, the internal strength to push through. When I was on guard duty, similar to what they're doing. I did funeral detail too in the military, but I'm gonna relate this to standing guard. A lot of people don't know. You're sitting there, and back then when I did it, there was no cell phones and none of that type of stuff was available. We're talking about 1988. One of the things that I had learned is that you're gonna talk to yourself a lot, and people don't understand that you're always communicating with yourself. You may not know it. And when I was sitting there doing guard duty, I would actually speak to myself out loud. And some of you might be laughing right now about that, but I would actually tell myself what I wanted for my future. Like while I'm sitting in that guard shack, you can't fall asleep. You're responsible for other people's lives. And I would just constantly talk to myself about what I wanted my future to be. And when you're standing at guard duty, what people do, especially where they can't even, you know, say anything, they just have to stand there with their hands crossed, staring straight forward, is that the one thing that you have is that you are saying things to yourself in your mind. You know, they might be saying, well, hey, there's people coming in and out, whatever. And this is where you get that personal power, where rather than just being out there just thinking about anything, you could take advantage of times like that to work on yourself, to talk to yourself about what you need to fix. I was constantly doing that when I had guard duty. I was always talking about what I wanted my life to be. I didn't know how quick it was going to happen. I didn't know how long it was going to take. I just knew what I wanted, and I constantly talked to myself. And the reason why I want you to do this is because if you don't, you're going to allow other people to actually build who you are. And that's why when that person said, why did I talk about this on my stocks on my channel? It's because this is my channel. And I tell myself what I want to talk about. I don't do it to just blow out there to try to see what people are going to want to watch or whatever. I'm focusing on debt, credit, and debt, but I'm also life, focusing on life. So to end the lesson, what I want you to do or to start the lesson to get your homework going is to take some quiet time. Find out if you like yourself. One of the quickest ways for you to find out if you like yourself, that you might be thinking that that's a crazy statement to make, but there's a lot of people that don't like themselves. And the easiest way to find out if you like yourself is to sit quietly in a room for 5 minutes and see what comes up in your own mind, and you'll find out if you like yourself. And you may like yourself, but you may not like how you're playing out your life. You may not like that you are not being aggressive for your future. You may not like that you're not attacking uh, the obstacles in your way, that you just keep maybe moving aside and putting them off. So you need to find that out about yourself because it's going to help you move forward in your life. When I was sitting there at guard duty, when I was sitting there at guard duty, I didn't even know it at the time. I was building personal strength on the inside that would help me when I went through uh, obstacles in my future. That's what it was doing. And that's what I'm giving you in this video. So now to get to the part about the cease and desist letter, and I'm going to get that up over here. And the link is below this video. And so I do have two cease and desist letter. I have one, and both links are below here. There's the one that we're talking about here. This is where you're actually putting pressure on a debt collector to see if they're going to even follow through with the process. So if you get a 30-day letter, I want you to send this letter, and you're going to send it out either certified mail or regular mail, whichever way, or send it both ways. I think on this one, I tell you to send it both ways. And there's a disclaimer at the bottom that the debt collector is going to read. And when they read this letter and they read the disclaimer and they see the way that you sent it to them to put them on notice, some debt buyers will choose not to go through with it, even if it's not past statute of limitations, even if they legally bought the debt and they can collect it from you. This is a very strong letter. So it's right below. This is the cease and desist debt collection attempt. So that's the first one. So I apologize for getting that confused when some people were asking me questions. We do a lot of different letters here with the company. The second one is a cease and desist letter for stopping them if it's past the statute of limitations to collect. And then there's also a debt validation letter that you can send that will get make them validate the debt if it's not past statute of limitations. So the link to both, to really it's three letters. The link to all three is below this video. You can get it, use it. At least that's like starting with a good foundation, and then you can go and from their responses that they give to you, you can figure out what you would have to do moving forward. All right, so I'm gonna end the video here. This is Stephen A. Williams, president and founder of the creditrepairshop.com. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you ask your comments and post your questions, and get the debt validation letter, the cease and desist debt collection attempt letter, and then I have a cease and desist collection activities if it's past statute of limitations, and I have a debt validation letter that you can use also.